This is Kathy with Duality Unfolding, and I have a reading for you about seeing the unseen. So this reading is really focused on getting clarity around something that maybe you're struggling to kind of see the reality of. It almost, like when I was thinking about this reading, it almost felt like kind of being someplace where it's like really foggy, you know, and like, or driving in fog, or even like walking in fog, and like, you know that there's something like else out there, not like something ominous, but like, you know that there's a path ahead of you, but it's kind of hard to see because of the fog, or you know, you have your lights on when you're driving in the fog, and it's like it just doesn't get clear soon enough for you to be comfortable, right? Like as you're driving forward, like the light kind of shows through the fog, but it's very limited. And so if you have kind of felt maybe stuck, unsure, confused, I feel like that energy has been kind of there for a while, but I think we just had so many things happening in June, and then July, it was like a lot of kind of rest in the beginning of the month, and then everything kind of ramped up and got really kind of crazy and chaotic. And it just feels like there's a lot of uncertainty as far as like, what should I be doing? Like, how do I navigate this situation? Like, what am I being called or invited or encouraged to do? Like, almost feeling out of alignment, but knowing that you're not. And also feeling like there's something you need to do. There's like this energy to do something, but there's not the guidance coming in from spirit about what you need to be doing or which way you should go. So if you're feeling any of those things, or you just like to look at pretty cards, welcome to this video. My intention with every tarot reading is just to offer you some kind of support, clarity, help, maybe some entertainment, you know, if I can make you laugh, or if you just enjoy, listening to me talk about whatever random things come out of my mouth, because yeah, being human is weird. So as you can see, we have 3 groups to choose from. These are the decks that I will be reading for, or reading with for each group. So group number 1, I also have chosen a crystal card and a little mini tiny tarot card. The local metaphysical shop that I go to in Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's called Dinah's Dreams. Sorry, I got excited. She had these little teeny tiny kind of porcelain glass tarot cards. So I will show you. I pulled one out of this little bag. I wish there was smell-o-vision, because there's like, there's this stuff in here. You can't see it. Oh, I wish you could smell it. I have like another little bag, because I got some, like a little bracelet, and so they put some of the, gosh, it's like healing herbs inside the bag. I don't know what they are, but I have to go back and buy more of them, because it just smells like, it smells like a hug. It smells like your fairy godmother. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it just feels, or it smells like the most like sweet, loving, like hug. Like, it smells like, I don't know, it smells like the way like your grandma smells, but not weird or gross. Maybe that I don't know how to explain it. It's just such a like, I just love it. Okay, on to why we're all here, which is not to hear me talk about the way your grandmother smells. Group number 1, the crystal card that I have for you is the opal, and the message is energy, creativity, motion. And then the little tarot card that came out is the moon. Look, it's a little tiny card. And then it has like a hole in it, I guess, like if you want to wear it like a necklace or hang it on your Christmas tree. I don't know. I don't have a Christmas tree because cats, but you know, for this, if I could get like 78 of these to put on a Christmas tree, I would fight my cats all holiday season for that. And then for your reading, we will be using the Afro Goddess Tarot Arcana deck and this African Goddess Rising Oracle. So group number 2, your crystal card is Celestite. And the message for Celestite, or the metaphysical properties, are spirituality, serenity, and vision. And your tarot card is the taco. What is this? It's so cute. And it's the same thing on the back, but oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. When I was at the metaphysical shop, like this is the random one that like I had picked. And so it was like, cause she had them in a little bag and I was like, what does this mean? And she's like, I think that it means abundance. And I love that. I love that. May we always be abundant in tacos or whatever your favorite food is. And then for your reading, we will be using the Shadowscapes Tarot, which is like a fairy tarot deck. And then this Oracle of the Fairies deck. And then group number 3, your crystal is clear quartz and the properties are energy, purpose, and motivation. And let me move that, sorry. And your tarot card is strength. And look at how she's holding this lion like it's her little baby cat. I can't. It's so cute. Look at his little face. It's so cute. I want a baby lion. Not really. And then the tarot deck that I will be using for you is this. Oh, I'm going to say it wrong. Oh, Cosma Visions Oracle. I always get it mixed up with the Prisma Visions. It's an Oracle deck, but it's structured like a tarot deck. And then the Oracle deck that I'll be using is the Soul's Journey lesson cards. So these are your choices for group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. And as well as crystals and little tiny tarot cards. I really want more of these. I just want them to have one in my pocket. I don't know, where around my neck. I don't know. They're so stinking cute. I love them. Okay. So these are your options. And I want to say thank you so much for watching this reading if you are new, and then if you are not new here, if you are someone that watches my videos, that's even subscribed, I just want to say thank you for coming back to watch another video and hang out with me, because I'm a weirdo, as you can tell from this intro. So as always, there's timestamps below. You're welcome to watch as many readings as you would like, and I will see you in the readings. Hello, group number 1. So if you chose this opal crystal and the teeny tiny moon card, as well as the Afro Goddess Tarot and the African Goddess Rising, this is your reading. So let me wrestle this box open. I'm going to move this microphone so I don't hit it and like hurt your ears. I'm going to pull 4 tarot and 2 oracle from these decks and do your reading. So we will get a chance to see what kind of unseen things are happening that we can get you some clarity on, that we can bring maybe to light, we can bring some understanding to. I hope that you are doing well. If you have been feeling kind of confused, unsure, and it might not be about really big things. I have been feeling the same way. And I can always tell when there's like a lot of this kind of uncertainty, confusion energy for me, because it comes up with my nails. I will struggle to figure out like what I want to do next. I won't like the nails that I have on, but I don't know what else I want to do. Like I can't figure out a design, or I'll start a new design and I don't like it, or I won't know what shape to do. Or I just feel like there's a lot of like confusion and kind of cloudiness, but there's also this feeling of like, I have to be doing my nails right now. Like this is what I need to be doing. I need to focus on my nails because I just do. It doesn't make sense, right? And so as I sit with the feeling longer, the thing that comes up is that compulsion, that need to do my nails is that's my, that is my kind of doing my nails, especially if I like am really kind of like hyper focused on them. Like that's this kind of soothing mechanism for like feeling uncertain, feeling out of control, feeling kind of powerless. It's like I feel like I can't control anything in my life right now, but I can control this. I can control this and this and this and this and this and this, that, you know, and if I don't like the way it turns out, I can wipe it all off and like start over again. And so if you've been feeling kind of, gosh, maybe a little bit out of control, maybe a little bit powerless, maybe a little bit confused. Like, I feel like that's really in the collective energy, like that there's, I don't know if it's the astrology, because I am not an astrologer. I'm a observer of astrology. Let's be honest, I'm a victim of astrology. No, I'm not a victim. That's terrible. I mean, we all have to deal with, the energies that are, affecting us because we can't control anything. And I feel like that's just like a big part of the human experience, So, yeah, all that to say, if you've been hyper focused on really small things that are not, that maybe in the big scheme of things don't feel super, oh, you got 5. That's okay. That don't feel like they're as important as the amount of focus that you're spending on them. If you feel confused, feel lost, if you feel like you're floating in outer space, but you're really not, then you are not alone. So I just wanted to take 4 minutes of your time to let you know that, that it's not just you. Okay. So can we just talk about how beautiful these cards are just from the back artwork? Come on, look at this beautiful gold. Beautiful. I think I heard that this Afro goddess deck that the creator, Andrea Furtick, she's not going to publish this deck anymore. So they had it at that metaphysical shop that I went to. And I was like, well, I have to buy this, because if she's not publishing anymore, how am I ever going to get it? They're gorgeous. Okay. So, without further delay and me talking about whatever it is that I'm talking about, let's look at your cards. Okay, so we've got Goddess of Cups, which is Queen of Cups in reverse, the Empress, the Chariot, wow, Goddess of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and Seven of Pentacles. Okay, I like that these are kind of divided the way they're divided, and let's look at this. Okay, so we've got Sekhmet and Urzuli Dentor. Okay, Wounded Healer, interesting, because Chiron, I want to say Chiron is going retrograde, and Chiron is the Wounded Healer, and then Urzuli Dentor is Etheric Chords. So I'm feeling like it almost feels like a before and after energetically. So we've got this Queen of Cups in reverse, and then we've got this Empress and the Chariot. And so the thing that you are not seeing, I don't mean this in a blaming way, you're blocking your own blessings. This Queen of Cups, this Goddess of Cups in reverse, like this cup is upside down. What happens when we hold a cup upside down? Everything falls out, right? Like you can't take a cup of coffee and turn it over and have that stay in there. This Queen of Cups in reverse, it's a signal that like the amount of love that you give to others, you need to start pouring that back into your own cup. Like the Queen of Cups is very loving. She's very nurturing, but she also makes sure to love and nurture herself. And so this Queen of Cups in reverse tells me that either you're giving too much to others or you're not giving quite enough to yourself. And that's what the block is. That sometimes we don't give enough to ourselves because maybe we feel like we're not worth it. Like there's this really weird thing that happens when you're a human being where you get taught that like the only love that matters comes from outside of you. And then our little human brains are like, well, I can't make other people love me, but what I can do is I can give other people lots of love so they see how loving I am, and then they want to love me more in return, which I feel like if you are a human being, like that's like this universal lesson that we all experience. Some people go through it for a lot longer period of time than others. Some people feel it more deeply. Some people never really get out of it. And so the message for you here is that until you can really start to love yourself, you will not be able to blossom into who you're meant to be, which is this Empress. You know, like you are this like beautiful divine creation. Like you were created as one of one, right? You're a very rare Pokemon. Like there's not you know, a ton of group ones out there, group number ones. Like your energy, like your blueprint, your DNA, like you are one of one. Even if you were an identical twin, like the energetics of you as this divine creation, like in this giant cosmos, is unique and different even from that other person that is biologically like identical to you, because we all know that like identical twins, like they aren't identical, like, you know, they look very similar, but it's like the longer you look at them or the longer you're around them, like there's so many differences that they have, right? That are more than just like superficial. So you are wholly deserving of your own love and care. And if I can just plant a little just plant a little love tick in your brain that I hope burrows really deep far in there, which is kind of a gross analogy, but we'll pretend it's like pink, like a little pink tick that has like a big heart on its back. It's a little love tick. It's not going to give you Lyme disease. It's going to give you self-love. But that I hope what I can like just kind of infect you with is that each time you give of yourself and give really deeply to others, I hope that the thought comes into your mind that I deserve this level of love from me too. I deserve my own love as well. I'm gonna say it again. Say it again for the people in the back. I deserve my own love as well. And once you and you don't have to believe it. You could write it down, you put it on a Post-it, write it in lipstick on your mirror. I have tons of little Post-its that have like affirmations on them. Like I have one by my shower and it just says, I'm amazing, you know? And like, you know, a lot of times like when we get in the shower, like you don't feel amazing. You're like, I need to get clean. Like I have things to do. But it also reminds me that like, hey, I'm amazing. Even if the only thing I do is take a shower today, or maybe just like brush my teeth, you know, because it's in the bathroom. Like I'm still amazing. I don't have to earn or do, I don't have to do anything to earn my amazingness. Like there's not like a, I don't know, there's not like a headmistress of amazingness that comes to my house and is like, I grant you amazingness for today because you brushed your teeth. No. I have this affirmation up there to remind me like I'm amazing just for existing with my morning breath or my crazy like bedhead. I am amazing. So that's why I'm saying you are deserving of your own love. So I am deserving of my own love. I am deserving of my own love. And so as you begin to love yourself more, you will start to embody this Empress energy, because when we look at her, she's pregnant, you know, but this baby is inside of her. This baby is still part of her, and she is holding herself. Like that is an act of love to nurture yourself while you are growing something else. Like, come on. You know, and then we've got every single, you know, zodiac symbol here, which is like this all encompassing energy of like, you are all the things. You are all the things, and you have everything that you need within you, and you're capable of all things. You're capable of more things than you realize. And as you come to love yourself more deeply, you tune into the I'm getting excited. I can't even talk. You tune into the energy of the universe, and you're able to receive that call when that like, you know, cosmic Uber shows up at your house, and the universe is like, hey, you know, get in, we're going somewhere. It's like I talk about the chariot as like the Uber of the universe. Like if somebody else orders an Uber for you and they're like, hey, I'm going to get you an Uber to come meet me where I am. You just have to like show up at the place that you're already at, right? Like the Uber comes to you. You don't have to give the Uber driver directions. You don't have to tell them how to get to your house. It's like you just need to go outside when it gets there. You just need to be where you are and take like maybe literally like 10 to 15 steps to get into the Uber, to get into the chariot, to go wherever it is that like the universe is taking you. And I love that, you know, we've got this full moon in the background, and there's this dichotomy of like really ancient times and really modern times, right? Like we've got these pyramids, which is this nod to like the ancient, and then this cityscape, right? Which is kind of looking at now. And it feels like as you love, like as you learn to deeply love yourself and you embody this Empress energy, it's going to tune you into the universe. And like there are things that only the universe can kind of bring together for you. There are things that only the universe can make sense of for you. And it feels like that's what the universe is wanting. It's like, I want to give you all the success, the prosperity. I want to give you everything it is that you want, because this Queen of Pentacles, I feel like is very, like, I feel like all the queens very much touch on this Empress energy, because the Empress is the ultimate queen. But, this Queen of Pentacles is really about abundance, right? And luxury in whatever way that luxury is for us, right? Like luxury is not money for everybody. Some people like having an expansive amount of time is luxurious. Some people having to not worry about like if they have money for food, that's luxury. Like not having to worry about if they are safe in their own home or if their car is going to get them to point A to point B. Like that luxury is really subjective, and it's also synonymous with abundance, like luxury is having a really high quality thing, just like abundance is having access to more than what you need. And so it feels like the universe wants to bring you to this place of really immense success. But with the Seven of Pentacles, like you're being asked to be patient, that like everything, this success, this ultimate abundance exists for you. But the universe is reminding you that you have to be patient with yourself because the work starts here, right? The first step is the self-love, and that how long is it going to take you to love yourself? Like you don't know. Like what is the journey going to be like? For some of us, self-love is a really difficult journey because we have all this stuff to kind of flush out that the world has given us, or that like we've picked up in really close relationships or from family dynamics or work or like friendships or whatever. Like there's so much old junk that needs to be dumped out of the cup that tells us that like, well, these are the reasons I'm not lovable and this is why I'm not good enough and this person rejected me, so why would anybody else want me? That like you have to be patient with yourself, because this self-love journey is as much of a decluttering as it is pouring into your own cup, right? If the cup that you are giving yourself to drink out of is full of dirt or mold or like just really not great things, it doesn't matter how much fresh water you pour into that cup. That fresh water it's going to be tainted until you are able to clean out that cup, right? So like all of us, the vessel that we have, it's pretty big, right? And so like this energetic vessel of how much love we can hold and receive, or how much of this old programming or this toxic stuff that we've picked up is in there. Like sometimes it's a lot, and sometimes like well, not sometimes, like oftentimes it can require like a certain amount of time and energy, like to sit with that, and to do the shadow work of just kind of sitting with the reality that like, okay, in this situation with this person, I gave away too much of myself and they didn't appreciate it. And really they didn't deserve it. And I didn't know that at the time. I was doing the best that I could, but now I know that, I have to kind of go into this wounded part of me and sort of, dig out some of that infection, or ask someone to help me, like dig out some of this infection. And maybe it's, going to therapy, or like even, going to do yoga, or whatever the thing is that feels like it's nurturing for you, that's going to help you, because each of us heal differently, like some people, like they feel amazing after they go for a run because they can just kind of empty out their thoughts. And then other people don't want, like they're hoping there's never a zombie invasion because they hate running. like, and sometimes we're both those people, right? That I can remember when I was like in my mid-20s and I went through my divorce, like I loved running because it was almost like this way of me being able to run away from my problems, right? That like each thing that I would think of, I would kind of imagine these thoughts like coming out of the back of my head and me just like kicking them away as I ran away from them. You know, like some of the things that like had happened in my marriage, or like some of the things my ex-husband had said, or even just like things that had happened at work that week. Like I would think about them and kind of imagine the wind blowing them out of the back of my head and my feet kicking them away. That doesn't work for me now because I don't like running. Like I ran for a long time in the military and my knees hurt and I don't like running anymore. And the thing that works for me now is sometimes talking to myself. Like it's oftentimes therapy. Sometimes it's writing stuff down and burning it because fire is fun in small amounts in a very safe location. So, sometimes the things that we don't see are the things that we kind of know we've needed to work on all along. And that's kind of how this feels, right? In some ways, I feel like for some of you, the hearing it is like, ugh, I know, but it's so hard. I don't want to. And then for others of you, it's going to be like, oh, I mean, I hear people talking about like you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else, and like love yourself. And like, I don't really know what that means. I don't get what that means. And I totally get that because I'm an Aries. I'm an Aquarius moon. So like I have a tendency to kind of think about my feelings instead of feeling my feelings. Even though I'm a Cancer sun and we're like the crybabies of the zodiac, it takes me a long time to get the feelings out of my brain and then into my eyeballs so I can cry them out. Sometimes they just don't ever make it, through my eyeballs. But if you're feeling like that there is like this really big thing that you're supposed to be doing or coming into or receiving, don't forget, like, don't allow your ego to tell you that you have to do all of it, that like you have to hurry up and love yourself so you can hurry up and be an empress, you can hurry up and get the Uber, you can hurry up and get all the stuff or the abundance or the safety or whatever the feeling is, because this Seven of Pentacles card is, the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. These are the two most important cards, I think, because when we are patient, because this, we've got this woman here and she's almost like stopping to smell the roses, even though they're pentacles. If you've ever grown anything, actually, if you've ever lived any place that has like multiple seasons, then you can sometimes take for granted like how quickly the seasons change. Because as seasons change, we don't stare, it's not like every day in October we go outside and we're like, are the leaves orange yet? Are they red? Oh, okay. This one leaf is starting to go from orange to red. No, we don't, we don't have time for that. We're not patient. We don't notice those things. We just notice when it's like, oh, dang, all the leaves fell off the tree. I got to rake that, or like, oh, wow, everything is like orange and red and yellow. And that's so fun. And I feel like these two cards are the most important because the small acts of self-love that you do every single day that you don't notice are what is the most important, because eventually like you're going to have something happen where it's like let's say that you decide that you're going to say this mantra every day, I am deserving of my own love. And let's say you say it every day for, 37 days. And on day 38, something happens and someone is like, hey, I really need you to help me with this thing. And I know that, you told me that you would help me with it like farther in advance than the deadline, but my deadline's tomorrow and I just really need your help. And like people know that they can just rely on you for that. But you already have plans for tonight, right? You're going to see this movie that you've been waiting forever to see. And, there's this part of you that's like, well, I should help them. And I don't know, but like I already bought my ticket. And also like I've been waiting for this movie. I've been waiting to see the next Beetlejuice movie since they announced it in like, July. Like this is a big deal for me. Like I want to see this movie. And you decide I am worthy of my own love. And you tell this person, like, I'm so sorry. Like I already have plans that I can't break because we don't break promises with ourselves. Because people can't be grown-ups, you know, and you say, I'm really sorry. I have plans that I can't break. And I wish that you would have come to me a little bit earlier because I would have loved to help you with it, but I just can't now, you know. And maybe they're like, well, no, I understand. And like, I'll ask somebody else, or maybe they like are mad or whatever. And then, you know, you get ready to go to the movie and you're so excited to see this movie and you're getting your popcorn, your snacks, and you're like sitting in the previews, and your brain is like, I wonder if such and such is still working on that project. And then your brain is like, oh, I am deserving of my own love. Like, this is a big deal. Like, I picked myself. I picked this movie. I picked being selfish, which is, it's not selfish to put yourself first. I don't know if you have been told otherwise, but that is a lie. And you're like, oh my God, I am deserving of my own love, and I'm showing myself by taking myself to see this movie that I've been wanting to see since I first like saw 2 seconds of the preview and I heard that like Beetlejuice theme music. Come on, you guys. And I'm here and I'm watching it. I'm so excited, and it's the best thing ever. And all the 37 days before, when you're saying I'm deserving of my own love, it's like you're just kind of like, well, did more things grow? I don't know. Well, I'll check back. I don't know. You know, and so each time we do something really small and incremental, like we don't necessarily notice it because our brains are not wired for like really, kind of really fine detailed changes. Like we're hardwired for big changes, like the leaves changing in the fall, or realizing that we took ourselves to see this movie instead of helping somebody that waited to the last minute to ask for our help, even though that's what people have, you know, been told they can do. You can't do that anymore. No, group number one has things to do that are what they want to do. They're joyful. Okay. You get the example. Hopefully, if you don't, then I don't know. So that's the tarot portion of it. This is the oracle part. So we've got Sekhmet and number 15, and then the wounded healer. And so Sekhmet is an Egyptian goddess that is half woman, half cat. And she, sometimes in the middle of the night, she will take cat form to like sneak out and go do fun cat stuff. But she also symbolizes independence, right? So we've got her here standing by herself. I just realized she's a little bit naked, a little bit topless. Sorry about that. Hopefully nobody's offended by that. And you know, this wounded healer message, let's see, these cards have affirmations at the end of the card meaning. But, so let's see. Okay, so she's a fierce Egyptian goddess of war, the sun, and healing. Okay. She carries life force in her palm and the power to create or destroy. Life force, also with this Empress energy. Heal thyself. Come on. Everyone gets your best except you. I can't. I cannot. Love yourself. Okay, sorry. You are a healer among your tribe. Stop putting your needs last. These two are in cahoots. These two are in cahoots because they want you to love yourself. It is safe to put myself first. I love this. When did you decide to become a martyr? Take a breath. Wounded healers hold sadness, rage, fears, and fears of brokenness. Being a warrior wasn't a choice for our beloved foremothers. They did the best they could. Yeah. What are your swords, the weapons you use to fight? And what are your shields, the ways you defend yourself? Dare to lay down the burdens along with your swords and shields. Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. I love it. Okay, and then let's look at this Urzuli Dantor, which is 27. Let me pull up the card so you can see it. Okay, so we've got etheric cords. Got this mother figure, again, very much Empress energy. And whoops. Oh geez. I don't wanna drop things. Look at these little babies. Look at these cutie patooties. And then everybody's got this like kind of halo of light around them. I love that. It looks very much like a full moon, but it also just looks like this kind of divine light. Everyone's crowned. Okay, let's see. So Urzuli Dantor fought elbow to elbow with her people during the Haitian Revolution to protect mothers and children. Got it. So that's that connection to the Empress energy also. She represents the healing of the Dark Mother. Okay. If it isn't wholehearted love, release it. Remember your worth. Again, come on. Self-love. Okay. I am worthy, compassionate, and whole. The energy cords binding you and someone you no longer wish to be attached to are strong. You must be willing to let go. Close your eyes. See divine swords of gods or goddesses, loving light separating you and dissolving the cords between you. You are both whole and healed. I feel like if there's like an intimate connection, and like by intimate I don't necessarily mean romantic. Like intimate is just like anybody that's like very, very close to us, right? Like just a close connection, right? Like with a parent, with a child, with a spouse, a lover, a best friend, even someone that you're kind of energetically entangled with at work. And this can be something that like it can be a negative entanglement. You know, it might not necessarily be someone that you're like, oh yeah, I'm in an intimate relationship with my coworker and we argue all the time. Like, like you wouldn't describe it that way. But like we can have those entanglements with people that like we just don't get along with, or it can be like a one-time thing. Like, let's say, I don't know, somebody cut you off. And then you had this kind of scary exchange on the highway because you're trying to get away from them, but they are just, I don't know, being a scary human. And maybe they kind of chase you or scare you. There's this negative energy entanglement there. And we can use cord cutting meditations, which is really like this is just a cord cutting process of closing your eyes and then seeing the divine sword of the god or goddess as a loving light that kind of cuts through a cord between you and this person. You can do this through meditation. Like sometimes you can do this like with crystals if that feels right for you. For me, like if I have something that like, if I have like some kind of weird attachment with someone, and especially if it's something that like mentally I can't stop thinking about, what I will say to myself is I dissolve the cord between us and I return your energy to you and I ask for my energy to return to me. And I do this in love and light. And so that's really kind of the same language of a lot of cord cutting meditations where it's, you're not cutting this person off, you're cutting this kind of tangled energy, because it almost sometimes can feel like somebody's got like a fish hook in you, right? Like their energy is like from their fishing pole and they cast their little reel, but then the hook gets in your skin and you can't get it out, right? And like what you have to do, sometimes is like cut that fishing line and then also kind of figure out how to get that hook out, so that you can give it back to them, because you're not going to keep it. You can't walk around with that, in, I don't know, in your finger or whatever, in your shirt. And so being human is weird and hard. And there's so many things that we can't see, right? Like we're talking about seeing the unseen, like energetic connections that we have with people. We don't see each other. I mean, maybe some of you do, but like the majority of us, we don't see each other's energy hooked into each other. But really, like when we have those extreme emotional experiences with one another, whether they're pleasant, whether they're unpleasant, whether they're like rooted in sexuality or trauma or like long-term exposure, like even the people that we love, that we want to stay connected with, like sometimes their energy can be hooked into us. And when we do those cord cuttings, especially for the people that we know we have those kind of negative attachments with, the ones that can manipulate or influence us, or the ones that we will put before ourselves, when we cut those cords, when we cut those energetic cords and we release their energy back to them and call our energy back to us, it restores this balance where we can be in autonomy, where we can be, able to like nurture ourselves and then also heal ourselves, right? Both of these cards talk about healing. This card again talks about like it's safe for me to be in my own energy. Like I'm compassionate. I am deserving of my own love. So I feel like there's a lot of healing that can come. There's a lot of healing that can come from taking this first step of loving yourself, and sometimes being loving to yourself is just considering yourself, right? That like when we think about friendships and like connections and what nurtures those relationships, it's having someone consider us, having someone think about us, having someone remember that like we had to take our dog to the vet and we were really worried that they weren't okay, and then us remembering that and reaching out and saying, hey, how's your baby dog, and then be like, oh, I can't believe you remembered, he's totally fine, like, oh yay, good. Or hey, isn't your brother's birthday coming up, or like, are you doing anything with your mom for Mother's Day, or how did that weird work meeting go? Like those are ways that we consider other people, and we can do the same for ourselves. That, knowing that things are coming up and maybe Mother's Day is really hard for you, and you decide that like, I just want to stay home for Mother's Day. And as a mom, I'm not a mom, but let's say that you're a mom, maybe your friends like to do things for you, and you just kind of let them know like, hey, I don't really want to do anything for Mother's Day this year. I just kind of want to be by myself, and I appreciate that you want to celebrate me, but I have to consider how I'm feeling this year, And so the way that we consider others, like we are deserving of that same consideration. We are deserving of our own love. So I feel like I have talked your face off about that. So I think this is a good place to end the reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Like, I hope that you didn't feel like I was nagging you to death to love yourself. But I feel like there's so much divine support, right? Like you've got these two goddesses that are here with these messages of healing. This moon card of being able to see the unseen, and just remembering that you're very, very supported. Like the universe has places that it wants to take you. It has so many good things that it wants for you. And it just really wants you to love you as much as it loves you. And all you should do is those little small changes for yourself, like each day something small, however that looks for you, right? Because the things that make us all feel loved are different, or make us feel cared for are different. For some of us it's maybe deciding not to set an alarm on the weekend when we don't have to wake up at a specific time, or like for others of us, maybe it's like getting that like fancy coffee creamer that like is a little more expensive, but we just super, it's so indulgent, we just love it, and not thinking about like how many calories is it, or like that's like a whole $1 more or whatever. Just kind of figuring out the things that make you feel really cared for and loved by yourself, because you are deserving of your own love. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it supports you, and I hope that it reminds you just of your divinity and your beauty and how magical you are and how supported you are, and really how much of a delightful gift you are. Like that the people that are in your life, they really cherish you. Yeah, gosh, what a sweet message to like come through. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, I would love it if you would like or subscribe, as well as comment. I love seeing the comments that you guys leave. And yeah, I just love connecting with you. So thank you for watching, and I am wishing you a beautiful day, night, evening, morning, whenever it is. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 2. So if you chose the Celestite and the Taco Tiny Tarot card, this is your reading. So I just love that little taco. I also love the little tiny like sunshine, little sun rays that are coming off of it. For some reason that looks like a volcano to me. And if there's an alternate universe where tacos come out of a volcano, I want to go there next lifetime. like whenever I reincarnate, I want there to be a taco volcano. Please. Oh man, so ridiculous. All right. But what else would we expect for me, It's Nonsense 2024. That's what I'm here for. That was my New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year. Nonsense. And the mantra is, for myself, was really a question of like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why can't I, whatever the thing is that my brain was like, oh, we can't, that's nonsense. We can't do that. You can't do that. You can't get your hands tattooed. And then we did. Well, this was last year, but this was this year, or you can't start a press-on nail business. Like, you haven't been doing your nails for 10 years. You can't start a press-on nail business. What are we doing? And so then came the question of like, wait, why can't I? Why can't I do that? Like, why can't I? And there wasn't a good reason. I mean, granted, there are some things that come up, where I'm like, I think I just want to run away because life's weird, and then there's the question of like, well, why can't I run away? And it's like, well, I have a mortgage and 2 cats, so can't run away, but we can't pretend to run away, and then you just go for a long drive and pretend like you're running away from your life and all your problems, but then you get hungry and then you realize that you want a milkshake and then you come back home because you miss your cats. But then, life gets better, or you just figure out, I don't know, how to keep going, right? Okay, so if you are having any kind of uncertainty, confusion, or maybe are looking for some clarity around a certain situation, that's what we're going to be reading for today. So I'm going to pull 4 cards for you. Okay. And then I'm going to pull 2 oracle cards. Excuse me. So we've got this Shadowscape Tarot, which is all kind of fairies, and then this fairy oracle of the fairies deck, because who doesn't like fairies? Well, actually, to be honest, like for a long time, I was not a fairy person. I was like, I don't get it, because the only fairy like that I really knew about was Tinkerbell, and like she's kind of a brat, in my opinion. But also I'm not really a Disney person, so I was just seeing the negative things about her. In small tokens where she's having her little fairy temper tantrums. And I went to a spiritual retreat, and I had quite a few people tell me that I had very strong fae energy or fairy energy. And I kept making this joke, like, is it because I'm small? Because I'm a small person. Like, I'm like, on a good day, I'm 5 feet tall. Like it's a 4'11" and a half. So I'm not large in stature. But after having people tell me that, and kind of explain it in a way that was more than just like, oh yeah, you are a physically small person, so you look like a fairy. And then telling that to people, like telling my therapist that, yeah, like I went to this spiritual business retreat, and like I had 4 different women tell me that I was a fairy in a past life. And, my therapist was like, I can see that. And I was like, really? And she's not like spiritual. She's not into like all this weird stuff that that I'm into. But of course, she's very, very non-judgmental, which we love. But she was like, yeah, I can see that. Because she's like, you kind of sprinkle this little, like magical, sunshiny, happy dust everywhere you go. And I was like, thank you. Because on the inside, I'm really a house goblin, and I hate coming outdoors. So it was just like a really sweet thing to say. And so since then, I have kind of embraced this fairy thing. But I also feel like I probably was just very like either mischievous or kind of, probably kind of like Tinkerbell. It's probably like really bossy. I do get a little mouthy when I'm mad. So maybe maybe Tinkerbell is like my shadow. And that's why I didn't like her, because I didn't like those parts of myself. Okay, so that's enough of me talking about fairies and shuffling cards for like 6 minutes. My apologies, kind of. Okay, so let's look at your tarot. Wow. Okay, so we've got Judgment, High Priestess, Knight of Pentacles, and the Devil. Interesting. And then, okay, we've got Magical Blessings and Pure Intentions. Beautiful. And these look like very, like the same, these look like the same tribe of fairy people. Some of the fairies like look different. They have different colors. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So Judgment. For me, this is a card of second chances, waking up to the High Priestess in you, like these kind of like almost the really magical parts of you. This process is happening really slowly because there's some stuff that you need to release. Okay, so that's it. So the reading's over at 7 minutes. Just kidding. So with this Judgment card, we've got this angel, and they're playing this trumpet, and we can see here like these kind of people, and this is a nod to the traditional tarot, where this is really kind of revelations in the traditional tarot. This is time of judgment. Like, it's in the traditional tarot, there's a lot of biblical references, but with this deck, it's very much rooted in like fairies and the magical, mystical, really beautiful things that like they're the thing that you don't see. Okay. Something ended, something unexpected ended, or even for some of you, you had a feeling it was coming, but you were hoping that it wouldn't happen. And then when it did, it wasn't as unexpected as for others of you. For others of you, it was like, I don't know what the hell happened. Like, it kind of almost, to me, it feels like being in a car accident where like, I had a car accident, like, gosh, I think I was 20, and like, the airbag deployed and I blacked out. So like when the actual accident happened, like I blacked out right before we actually collided. And then when I woke up, I was like, I can't hear anything. So, fun fact, sometimes when an airbag explodes in your face, like your ears kind of feel weird for a little bit, but, it feels like the thing that was taken away from you. Like it feels like that, like it feels like this car crash, but it's like you don't like the how of it, like the how of like, how did my car get spun around, or like how did their car get over there, like kind of the how of it, like you can't see it. That's the unseen thing, right? Where it's like, how did we get here? How did this happen? Like how, like my brain can't reconcile like what is going on. How do we get from point A to point 7? Like what like did we go through the whole alphabet and then the numbers, or like what? This doesn't make any sense. So there's this part of you that's the confusion, like something happened unexpectedly, something happened that doesn't make sense for you. And the message of this card is that like that had to happen for some kind of transformation to occur. Like it was that unexpected ending was a catalyst, a catalyzer for your reawakening, for your transformation, because we've got these people, like these kind of ghost people coming up, and their hands are being raised, and there's butterflies coming out, up here, and then also kind of out of the trumpet, right? They're flying around this angel. And then I love that the poppies are here, because this is a weird, sometimes, sorry. Sometimes there's things that happen like for me on this like spiritual journey where it's like, oh, everything's connected, but it's not in this like really whimsical way. It's like this, like poppies. And I mean, I've said many times that like I was in the military, and also I have a bachelor's in psychology, and there was a class that I took on the psychology of terrorism, because that makes sense, right? Being in the military and then like the psychology degree. And one of the random things that I learned was that in Afghanistan, the reason that it became like the opium capital of the world, which I don't know if it is anymore, is because poppies can grow in anything. They can grow anywhere. And so, Afghanistan is a desert, and like when some more random farming knowledge, which I feel like farming comes up a lot whenever Knight of Pentacles comes up, but like the Knight of Pentacles energy is very intentional and deliberate. Like when you are farming for the purposes of like making money, like when that's like your livelihood, like you can't plant the same things over and over and over again, because different plants take different nutrients out of the soil and then they leave different nutrients. And so you kind of have to rotate your crops so that like you don't have something, you're not planting like, I don't know, beans and corn. And each time you rotate them, they're only depleting the same nutrient from the soil and they're not putting the same thing back in. Obviously there's a science to it, right? That's why there's agricultural degrees. But with poppies, like they can just grow out of anything. Like they can just like, because the land in Afghanistan was so depleted that really like the only thing that they could grow was poppies, and that's why they did, because people need money to eat. People need, like, as human beings, we do a lot of not savory things for the purposes of survival, and because of disparity, like a lot of us don't have to live that way, and we don't have to see the people that do live that way. Long story long, I love that these poppies are here, and I also love how weird the spiritual journey is. I love that these poppies are here because it's a message about your fortitude, that it feels like you've lost everything. It feels like everything is maybe hopeless. Like it feels like, how do I recover from this? But these poppies are a reminder that you don't need anything to bloom again. You can blossom out of these circumstances that look really bad, because you are this really magical being. Like the high priestess, like she has this knowledge and wisdom from like lifetimes, and like through the ages. Like it's almost like this wisdom that the high priestess holds. It's collected like it's like this soul wisdom or this DNA wisdom. It's something that just is this innate part of the high priestess energy. Like she doesn't have to like go to school to relearn these things. Like they just have to be activated in her. Just like that loss was a catalyst for your transformation, like seeing yourself blossom and bloom out of nothing, seeing that you can still continue to go on when you've lost everything, according to your ego, according to your human mind, according to society. That is what activates your realization that you are the high priestess, that you are this magical, capable, really, I want to say effervescent, but that's not the right word. Maybe you are an effervescent, bubbly person, but that you have the fortitude to do things, to keep going. And it doesn't make sense to other people. They don't understand how you haven't given up, and you can't, like, you're not wired that way, right? Like the high priestess doesn't need logic for how like this flower is able to grow out of nothing. Like the high priestess knows that there's unseen things like magic, like energy, like Gaia, and like source, and the magic of the planet that like we don't understand. And also we don't need to understand it for it to happen, right? Like it makes me think of I don't know how long ago it was, like when everybody was like fascinated with like mycelium, and like, which is like this kind of essentially like a network that like mushrooms, like it's almost like not like a group think, but it's like this intelligence that mushrooms have, where they can communicate through the ground. I know I'm not explaining it right. So if you know what I'm talking about and you have a better explanation, please share with the group. But essentially, like the nature of these plants, or this like moss or whatever it was, like it can connect and communicate with each other. And like it affects like trees, you know, where like they've done studies where like trees of different types can connect with each other through this like mycelium underground and realize, oh, this tree, it needs some more of this nutrient, and I have extra, so like I'm just gonna send it over there. There you go. And it's like above ground, we don't see all of that. And I feel like that the existence of that, like it's been happening since forever before we discovered it. Just like gravity existed before I don't know, Newton made this theory of gravity, right? Just like Saturn existed before we discovered the planet. The moon existed before he visited it. Like that is the magic of the high priestess, that like the understanding that there are things that are happening that we would attribute to like magic. And we only call it that because we can't explain it in a human way. But like that, the ability to explain it in a human way doesn't make it more valid or less magical. Like it's just our way of acknowledging it. And that there's so many things that humans haven't acknowledged yet that are the reason why we continue to be. It's the reason why you continue to be. It's the reason why you can thrive in the face of all this really difficult stuff happening. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that was a really kind of crazy, I don't know, LSD wormhole. I don't like, I feel like those just kind of all over the place. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of where we are. I feel like the energy is really weird this week. It's a really weird week. Also being human is weird. You know, everything's weird. So with this Knight of Pentacles, it's the slowest moving knight in the deck. You know, knights are about taking action. And it's not that the Knight of Pentacles doesn't want to take action. He is very deliberate and intentional and focused and like do it right the first time, you know. And it's not that we can't do things wrong. It's that we understand how precious our time and energy and magic are. We understand like that transformation is something that is gifted to us. Like this rebirth, this butterfly energy, like this is a gift not to be wasted. Like that, yes, something happened that was really difficult, like really unexpected and almost like detrimental. But it's also a rebirth, and it's this second chance that we know in this innate way, it's very rare. Like this second chance energy doesn't happen all the time. And also like because of this kind of magical high priestess energy about it, we can't just create it in the tangible world. Like you can't just go to the gumball machine and put in your 25 cents and get like, you know, a second chance. Like it doesn't work that way, right? And so it's this understanding that this second chance is so monumental, so important, so valuable that it requires our full attention. It requires our full intention. It requires our full focus and energy in making the best use of it, taking the most advantage of it, as a reflection of how important it is and how much gratitude we have for it. It's almost like a reverence, right? So this Knight of Pentacles understands how rare it is to get this, and understands how much work is required to make the best use of it. And it feels like in this intentionality of like using this magic and the second chance, what happens with this Devil card is that like you're getting that clarity. Like you're seeing that, you know, this devil maybe isn't as scary as your brain made it out to be. You know, and I say that because he's holding this little heart here, right? But he's got it kind of wrapped up in this like weird webbing, you know, so it's almost like it's suspended. It's not being crushed. It's not being hurt. It's not being wounded. You know, he's got these little creatures around him that are kind of like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing with that? You know, and this little, what is this? Oh, it's a crown. Sorry. I was like, is that a lantern? Like, no. We've got this little bird with a crown. And then we've got the person in here that looks like they're tied up. You know, that looks like they're stuck. But right above their head is the key, right? They're chained here, but literally right above their head is the key that they can reach. And so the devil card, I feel like if we are open to it, the devil card is this message for us that we keep ourselves trapped by giving away our power to this monster that we think has kept us in bondage. And sometimes that monster is us. Sometimes that monster is our anxiety. Sometimes that monster is the limiting beliefs that, you know, that we have invested in that say that I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. I'm stuck forever. I can't see what I need to see, or, you know, whatever those things are, you know, I'm not good enough. Like, as you come to see that ending was a catalyst for transformation, that you are divinely connected to all this wisdom and magic and the universe and like support, then you can move into really using this second chance in the best, highest way for yourself. And as you're making those plans, taking those deliberate steps, like operating in specific intention, the things that have bound you for so long, the things that have trapped you for so long start to fall away. And it's almost like it's a seen and unseen sandwich, which I'll explain. This unexpected thing that happened that triggered everything, you did not see that coming, and maybe right now you can't see why it's happening. But as you move through this energy, it becomes very, very clear that if this had not happened, you would not have been able to see that you always had power over whatever the devil is in your life, right? And so it can represent lots of toxic connections, toxic habits, limiting beliefs, addictions in all forms, you know, whether that's from substance to retail therapy to you name it, like food, sugar, caffeine. And that if this had not happened, if this unexpected thing had not happened, you wouldn't have been able to travel through here and break the chains, unlock yourself from this bondage that you believed you never had power over. Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very powerful. Yeah. So we've got these two Oracle of the Fairies. Yeah. So this first one is magical blessings. Whatever you're going through, you're being assisted. That's not a word. Whatever you're going through, you're being assisted by magical fairy blessings. The fairies say you can bless others too. Okay. So, I mean, come on. Like the high priestess, she is a healer. She is, you know, a priest or priestess gives blessings, right? Like if you're familiar with church and you need a blessing, you go to a priest. Well, high priestess, that's not really any different except for like, you know, a couple letters. And then this judgment, you know, we talked about something unexpected and difficult happening. And it feels like this connects to these two, that like whatever you're going through, you're being assisted by magical fairy blessings, and that you can bless others too because you are this high priestess energy. And then we've got pure intention. The fairy of manifestation will help you to use your wishes wisely, manifest your heart's desires with pure intention and for the highest good of all. Like I said, this Knight of Pentacles is about being very deliberate, very intentional. And so with this, you know, with this second chance, like you have the opportunity to make it whatever it is that you want. Like it's not a 1-for-1 match, right? So maybe for some reason, like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's unexpected, but not like the worst, terrible, unexpected thing. Like, okay, we'll go back to the car accident thing, right? That let's say you have, a car accident and, that you're fine, that like there's no physical injuries, but because of the damage, like maybe whatever happened, like your car gets totaled and, they pay you money for it. And then you realize, well, I don't, gosh, I don't really love the job that I'm at, and I'm at this job because I need money to make a car payment. And there's really something else I would love to do with my time. So like if I could just find a part-time job that paid a little bit less, and maybe not have another car payment. So maybe I'll take this, let's say your car's totaled and they give you $15,000. Maybe I'll take this $15,000 and just see if I can buy a car cash. So then I don't have a car payment. And then maybe I can find a little, like a little part-time job that helps to pay like the bills I'm responsible for. And then I can take the rest of my time and use it for this thing that I really want to do. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to spend more time with your kids. Maybe you just want to be less stressed, right? And so it's like there's this part of your brain that's like, no, you have to work because you have to pay your bills. You have so many bills. You have to have a car. You have to, because in the original situation, like it's really difficult to pay off your car early if you're only making enough to make your car payments, right? But it's like nobody wants to have a car accident, but hey, you just got $15,000 and that changes everything and it wasn't expected, right? So that's what I mean by it doesn't have to be like a 1-for-1, right? That you don't have to, like, this car accident doesn't mean that like the whole purpose was for you to buy a used car. Maybe like the purpose was to free up your time or give you more space or, just any of those things. And I hope that makes sense. And I hope that you drive safe because it's crazy out there. It is a wild, wild time. But yeah, this has been your reading on like seeing the unseen, getting clarity around something that like maybe just was confusing or was heavy or just difficult to process or like difficult to move past, that this unexpected thing, I just want to acknowledge like this is hard. Like it feels like it's something that it's hard when we don't understand how we got to where we are. It's hard when we don't understand why things happen. I think that's hard for human beings to like reconcile and process. So I just want to acknowledge that. But I also want to remind you that, this thing is a second chance and that you are divinely guided, divinely protected. You have the ability to make these very intentional decisions to create this life that you want for yourself. And in doing that, you're going to be able to release a lot of the things that you didn't see that were holding you back. Like this kind of old programming, old stuff, old junk that's been keeping you down. Like it's a turning point. You're ready to move past that. Also, just to take it back to the beginning, the taco volcano. I wish you I wish you delicious tacos if that's what you're into, or delicious whatevers. Maybe you aren't a big fan of handheld food. Maybe I wish you delicious enchiladas or burritos or whatever your thing is. But yeah, group number 2, that has been your reading. So I would like to say thank you so much for letting me read your cards. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and or returning if you are someone that normally watches my videos. If you enjoyed this reading, I would love it if you would like or comment or subscribe. Like I really enjoy the comments. I really enjoy reading just, what you guys have to say, like what you're going through, or if you enjoyed the reading, or if you think I'm a big weirdo, because you wouldn't be the first to tell me that. So yeah, I am wishing you a lovely day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. So if you chose this Cosma Visions and this Soul's Journey decks, as well as the Clear Quartz and the teeny tiny tarot strength card, that we have to look at this again. Oh my gosh, look at this. This little baby, look at his face. Oh my gosh, look at that little barba face. I can't. It's so cute. It makes me think of the videos like on Instagram or TikTok where It's like those wildlife rescue centers, and they have big cats and they give them catnip. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those. They are my favorite. They crack me up because it's like, or when they have the really big cats and they give them like a box, like a cardboard box, and it's just like all cats are the same. Like giant wild cats love boxes, just like tiny living room lions love boxes. Are like like jaguars love catnip, just like your little baby cat loves catnip. It just cracks me up. I think it's hilarious and adorable. And like I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of cheetahs when they kind of do that like barking, chirping thing. I think that's the cutest because they make that like little face, when they're doing their little noise. It reminds me of my cats. It's like, I don't know what you're crying about. Like, are you hungry? Do you need a hug? Like, do you need some lunch money for school? I like to ask my cats ridiculous things when they're meowing and I can't figure out why. Which is really just Ben. Brandy doesn't meow very often, but Ben does. So then it cracks me up because like he'll stop and he'll like cut his eyes at me. Like he'll give me a side eye. Like, that I don't need lunch money. Like, please I need you to pet me in the way that I want to be petted for as long as I want. And then I need you to leave me alone. Oh man, to be a cat. Okay, so I am going to pull 4 tarot cards for you from this Cosma Visions deck. And we're going to see what unseen things we can bring you some clarity around. This could be around a connection, a situation, circumstance. Like, you might have a question in your mind that you want to think of, that you want some clarity on. And then I will, for some reason I'm getting the message to look at this bottom of the deck energy, so we'll do that, which is very interesting. Ace of Birds, Ace of Swords. And we've got these the Soul's Journey lesson cards, so I will pull 2 of those for you. This guy kind of looks like a weird snowman or a mountain. Also, his little hands, it's like got like little mittens. It's very peculiar, very peculiar. Okay, so let's get 2 of those. Okay, so let's see what unseen things we can get some clarity around. Okay, so we've got the maze, 5 of embers, the orbs, 8 of trees, Ace of Birds, health and grief. Interesting. I feel like this is a message. Like, this together is a message. So let's look at this grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Having gratitude for the things that we lose, right? 5 of embers, 5 of wands. 5 of wands is kind of an energy of a little bit of drama. We've got like these 5 trees that are being burnt, that have caught on fire, but also we've got kind of this water that they're in. And then we have another really massive tree here and all this green. And we don't see that the green is getting caught on fire. And so it looks worse than it is. Sorry, I'm looking at this. This almost looks like an eye and a nose and like a mouth. Almost like this, like clouds like a baboon that's eating these giant matchsticks. I don't think that was intentional, but maybe the eyeball. Probably not the baboon, but yeah, it feels like you lost something and it looked worse than it was. So it's like, part of me feels like this is a relationship in a way. Like, there's a relationship or a connection that you lost and it felt heavier. The loss felt heavier than what the relationship was actually worth. And I say that because, we've got these 5 embers here, but then we have the 8 of trees. So we've got these 5 trees on fire, and then we have 8 trees here that are fine. And if we just got to do the basic math, like 5 minus 8 is 3. And so that makes me feel like there's this really there's this abundance that you're not able to see yet. Because you're still processing that grief, right? This looks worse than it is. This loss looks worse than it actually is in reality. And that once you're able to finish grieving, once you're able to appreciate whatever this was for what it was, because right now you have it on this pedestal. You've put this thing... Okay, you allowed whatever this thing was to kind of be an idol in your life. And so when we put things up on a pedestal, we give it additional power. And so it's when we put something on a pedestal, we put it above ourselves. We put it higher than ourselves. We make it more important than ourselves. And it also creates this power dynamic where we have to shift our focus upward. So it's we're having to do extra effort to shift our focus up at something instead of having something that is level with us, that's even with us, that allows us to be in our own energy, and also that thing be in its own energy. So it's when we have this imbalance of power, either this person has to agree to come down, or this person has to agree to at least make an effort to look up for the connection to happen. And so it feels like you were giving this connection or this situation or this, it could even be a job, more credence, more power than it actually deserved. It wasn't worth the amount of energy that you were giving to it. Let's say that this is $5, because we got the 5. Let's say this was worth $5 and you were consistently giving it $20 energy. And so there's this imbalance, right? That you were over giving, and the excess of it wasn't appreciated. It wasn't being saved. It wasn't being returned to you either. It wasn't whoa. You can't keep over giving $15 of energy. It's not necessary. And so that's why, that's why the loss had to happen. Because sometimes when we can't pull ourselves away from something, what is for the best, highest good is for it to be removed from us. And I feel like that's what happened. And you didn't do anything wrong. It's not a punishment. It, essentially this was blocking you from what you were really deserving of, and what was meant for you, which is this 8 of trees, which is all this abundance, right? You're kind of in this murky swamp area thinking this is this is paradise, and the universe is oh, group number 3, look at group number, they don't know what's going on, these little goobers, they don't know, they can't see this. They are so hyper focused on this, and they really believe that the swamp is the paradise, and how do I get them to move to this? Hey, maybe if I stand up here as the universe and I'm hey, group number 3, come over here. And then it's gosh, you can't hear me. Group number 3, you deserve this. And I'm they can't hear. And so it's okay, well, this is not for their highest good. So let me clear the path by burning it down so that they can see that something better is here. And I know that doesn't make it hurt any less. I totally acknowledge that, in the moment, this feels like the ultimate thing. This feels like the penultimate thing. This is the top of the top of the top for you so far. And sometimes as human beings, our context and perspective gets skewed, right? It's hard for us to see things that we've never seen before. And if you thought this was paradise, then how can you even imagine this amazingness, that the universe is no, we made you a whole palace. You don't have to live in the swamp. You're not Shrek. Come on. There's people, and we got desserts, and come on over here. And so that's one of the things that you can't see, that you're grieving something that you lost, that I want to totally acknowledge that it's hard to lose things. Like, it's hard to lose the things that we feel like are important. And as you grieve it, understanding that, like, you can have an appreciation for it, but also, like, what you lost is not, like, the best that there is for you, you know? Maybe if you can kind of allow yourself to see it in more of a nostalgic way, like that, maybe if you could tap into your higher self or your future self and kind of think of it like when, like if you have like a first car or like a first love or like a first, I don't know, like first kind of fun camping adventure or something that you have this nostalgic emotional attachment to, like, oh man, that's my first car, and like I'm gonna sell it because like I want to get another car, I want to have a grown-up car, but like, man, that, like, I had so many like fun times in that car in college, and like, oh my gosh, we traveled to all these places, and like there's a dent in the fender from that one time when I backed into like a, I don't know, like a tree stump or like there's a dent on the hood when we thought we could sit on the hood of the car. Like we have all these memories, and like if you can allow yourself to feel even just a little bit of nostalgia around this loss, that like that can bring in some appreciation for it, that like you don't have to not love this thing, but you can't idolize it anymore. It can't be your sole focus anymore, because there's bigger and better things that the universe has for you. And not to say that you can't have like this kind of tender emotion about it, but allowing yourself to grieve so that that emotional attachment starts to dull, so that like those cords kind of loosen and you can move forward. With this Ace of Birds, it's, an Ace of Swords, it's a new beginning. Ace of Swords is a new opportunity, a new, almost like a new way of thinking about things, a new mindset, like a refreshed mind is kind of what I'm hearing. And I think it's because it's very warm where I'm at, but also like all of this ice, this this snow, this ice, and then these colors in the background, like it feels like this brightness doesn't match kind of the dreariness of winter. So it kind of feels more like this is like a refreshing. No, that's not a word. This is a refreshing contrast to like this brightness and warmth. And so then over here we've got health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. And then we've got the maze and the orbs. I feel like these... Okay. The strength card and the orbs, like they're both a number 8. And like with this health, like you don't understand how strong that you are. And I don't just mean like physical strength. Like, I mean the amount of strength that it takes to be on this human journey on the planet Earth in this current time right now. Like, as a spiritual person, I'm assuming you're a spiritual person, because I don't know why you would be watching this weird ass tarot card reading if you weren't. I don't know why you'd be watching my channel if you were not a spiritual person, because it's real weird here, or at least I'm real weird. I don't know. Like as a spiritual person, like acknowledging that being here at this time in our like human evolution, this is not for the weak. This is not for like the inexperienced. Like this, I believe, that everyone that is here at this time chose to be here, and understood like what it was going to be like. And it to me, it feels like, when you join the military, that you know, in kind of some superficial ways, like, you know that you're gonna have to go through basic training, you know that people are gonna yell at you, like, you are pretty sure that nobody's gonna physically harm you in basic training, but like, you know, it's probably going to be painful. You're going to have to carry stuff and like do a lot of physical activity, and like you might be sleep deprived, and like you don't know anything about when your meals are going to be, but you know they're going to feed you because they have to feed you, right? But in the big scheme of things, there's also a part of you that understands, like, ultimately, worst case situation, my job as a military person is to go fight in a war against other human beings that I might have to hurt or harm or kill, right? That in the big scheme of things, like, that's the reality of it, right? And like, volunteering for military service, like, that's what that means. We don't live in a country where it's mandatory military service, like, you know, like Germany and South Korea. And so I say all that to say that, like, on a soul level, like, when you incarnated, when you agreed to come here, you understood, or you knew that worst case situation, it was going to be real crazy here. And I don't say that, like, that doesn't negate any of the difficult experiences that, like, we go through as human beings. That doesn't make the bad things that happen okay or right. They're not. I say all this to just remind you that you have so much strength as a human being, as an energetic being, as a soul being, like, in the times that you have intense grief, in the times that, like, you don't physically feel okay, that it's okay. It's okay to have a meltdown, and it's okay to cry for as long as you need to cry, and it's okay to need to take breaks, and it's okay to opt out of the things that take more than they give, whether that's energetically or like literally, because regardless of how aware you are of your soul wisdom, regardless of how aware you are of like your energetic body, your emotional body, like, regardless of where you are on your spiritual journey or your human journey, this existence really is a maze. You know, like, there's not a map for how to get to the end first, because really the end is, you know, there's not really an end because there's reincarnation, but it's like also the end is like the end of this human physical existence that you've chosen to incarnate into, right? So it's like, well, if you get to the end first, then like, okay, so your physical vessel dies, and then what? Like, you become an orb and then you come back. It's like, I mean, if you want to reset your video game, but it also doesn't really work that way, right? You don't come back as the same character. And so understanding that, like, the goal is not to get to the end. The goal is not to get out of the maze the fastest. Like, it's not, you don't get a prize. At least I don't think. And also that, like, mazes are confusing, but they can also be like beautiful, and they can also like make us laugh, right? Like, if you've ever been in like some kind of like haunted house, or like a corn maze, or like anything like that, where it's like you don't really know what you're doing and you're just kind of bumbling through it, and like you have friends with you, and like maybe you run into dead ends and it makes you laugh because like sometimes that's all you can do, right? Sometimes all you can do is kind of stumble through and be in, you know, good company, and kind of laugh about the fact that, like, did we come this way already? Like, oh, we ran into those people. Oh, look at how many of us chose to come into this and have no idea what we're doing, and we're just kind of stumbling around in the dark, trying not to bump into each other. And like that, I feel like that's the thing that you're being invited to see, right? That I say this a lot lately, and I keep saying I'm going to make stickers. I mean, I have, but I haven't printed them because stickers are expensive. Nothing's real. Everything's made up, and nobody knows what the fuck is going on. That's what this maze energy is. That's the thing that you don't see, is collectively, like, nobody knows what's going on. We're all just doing our best day to day, and that when we kind of learn something, that we share it with other people, right? And that, like, sometimes those people make processes to try to make it a little bit easier for other people, and sometimes people make YouTube videos, and then sometimes people start to grow their own food, and, like, we just are trying to help each other, and sometimes your tomatoes don't turn out right. Like, that's like that's the reality of being human, that, like, we're all in a maze. We're all lost the majority of the time. It helps to have good company. Sometimes you just have to laugh at your situation. It's not forever, but also, like, you're so much stronger than you realize. You're so much more capable than you realize. Yeah, and that you deserve your own care. That, like, the vessel that you're in deserves just as much care as your spiritual, like, the amount of energy that you're investing in your spiritual growth. Your body, your human vessel, deserves just as much. That you can't abandon one for the other, right? Like, you can't spirituality your way out of maybe, I don't know, arthritis. That, like, maybe you need to go to the doctor and find out, like, if you need some physical therapy for that arthritis in your knee, or if you need to take some medication, or if there's something more natural that you can do that feels right for you, or, like, should I start going on walks, or, like, oh, okay, water aerobics, cool, I can do that, that your physical vessel deserves just as much time and attention and energy as your spiritual practices, as your spiritual development, as the amount of, like, thinking and trying to figure out all of this higher level stuff. Like, that, the energy that it takes to do that, your body deserves just as much energy. And it kind of feels like these are two separate but related messages, right? Because this Ace of Swords, like, this is kind of looking at the way you care for your body in a different way, looking at the fact that, like, nobody knows what's going on. Nothing's real. Everything's made up. Like, if you're following American politics, we've had, like, a lot of things come up where it's like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? And what if this happens? And even in our legal system, it's like, well, what if this happens? And, like, this has never happened before, and it's unprecedented, and I was talking to a friend about it, and he was like, well, what does it mean if this happens? And it's like, some of it was tied to dates, right? That, like, the Republican Party has to select their nominee for president by this time, and the Democratic Party has to select their nominee by this time, and it's past those dates, and it's like, right, but those dates are arbitrary because they were made up by each of those groups. Like, it's not something that's ratified in a constitution. Like, it's not something that's law. Like, those groups decide within themselves when they want to make this decision. So it's like, nothing's real, right? Like, because we, as human beings, we make these little rules for ourselves, right? That, like, we always have to have dinner before 7. You have to eat before, you can't eat after 9 o'clock at night. Why? I had dinner at, like, 9:45 last night. Like, and then I went to bed at 11. And the lunch police, or the dinner police, did not come for me, nothing terrible happened. I didn't have indigestion. I slept fine, but it's like, we make up these rules, like, well, you can't eat after 9 p.m. because it's bad for your metabolism. Okay, well, I think my metabolism is still working because I was hungry when I woke up, so I don't know. But I just give you these like silly little examples to remind you that like nothing is real. Everything is made up, right? So if there's this part of you that is so focused on like, this is the best that I'll ever have, or like, I have to figure it out because I have to know what's going on. Like, I need a purpose. I have to, whatever. That, maybe this Ace of Swords, this new perspective is like, maybe it can be a lot better than what you imagined. Or maybe like, maybe you don't have to know everything. Maybe you don't have to have everything figured out. Maybe you can give yourself credit for making it this far because of how strong you are. And like, maybe you can just acknowledge that you're stronger than you think, or that you're stronger than what people have given you the impression that you are, or even you're stronger and more capable than what people have said to you in the past. So yeah, it feels like there's like some of the unseen things are really around like old mindsets and like kind of context and perspective. And that you're being invited, like for this, like with this loss of whatever this was, the thing that you can't see is that this wasn't the best that you could have ever had. That there's something so much better for you. And that it's okay to be sad that we lose things. And it's great if we can be appreciative of those, and we can, have that gratitude for what happened, even though we don't have it anymore. And also like seeing that nobody knows what's going on. So why do you have to know what's going on? Right? Like, you're not responsible for knowing every single step along the way. Because that's not how this works, right? We can make a plan, and then it cannot happen due to unforeseen circumstances that we have no control over. Does that mean that you failed? No. If things happen that we can't control, that's not our fault. So that means you don't get to count it as a failure. You don't get to hold that against yourself. But also like just acknowledging the things that you've been through, like the difficult things that you've been through, and that, you are strong, and like energetically you're strong, and that like you have a lot of soul wisdom that you haven't fully tapped into. Like, you're still learning and growing, and understanding. And that's beautiful. And that's part of the human experience. So maybe just, I don't know, maybe if you be nice to yourself, be nice to my friend group number 3, please. Because being human is hard and weird. And maybe I should make stickers that say that too. Being human is weird and hard. But also like fun and beautiful, right? Because we can laugh at ourselves when we're lost in the maze with our BFF. Yeah. So I hope that brings you some clarity and like some comfort, and also just a reminder to be compassionate with yourself. That like you don't have to expect so much from yourself. You don't have to hold yourself to such a high standard. That it's okay for you to be messy and confused and not perfect. And if anybody tells you otherwise, then you just send them my way, and I will punch them in the junk. Maybe. I mean, I probably. Just give me their address. Just kidding. That's weird. But yeah, it's okay to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to be gentle with yourself. I am giving you permission to be kind and gentle with yourself, because that is a basic human right, in my opinion. So, and I'm the one that makes the rules around here. I'm the one that makes stuff up around here, and that's the rule I'm making up. You deserve kindness and compassion. Everybody does. If you made it, if you exist, that's a basic human right. You deserve kindness and compassion. And I'm going to force it on you. So be nice to yourself. All right. Group number 3, this has been your reading about, what what has been kind of unseen or hidden from you. So I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it was, that it brought you some clarity and encouragement, and that you feel supported. I want to say thank you so much for watching this reading. If you enjoyed it, I would love it if you would like or comment or subscribe, or all three. I really enjoy reading your comments, and just kind of hearing what you guys think of the readings or even of the cards. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for being here, and I'm wishing you a lovely day or night or evening wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye.